Good morning. Welcome back to Morning at 10 TV. My name is Malat Kivila Odera, and today we'll be talking about a very important topic: monitoring your child's growth and development. As a parent, as a new parent, as a second-time parent, whatever stage you are in, why is it important for you to monitor your child's growth, especially in that critical stage of 0 to 5 years? And in studios to talk about that, I have a panel of experts, and right next to me is Mr. Waiswa Paul, who is an occupational therapist. Welcome to the show, sir. Next to him is Madam Irene Bakabulidi. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
We also have Dr. Mukere John. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
You're welcome.
Children's growth and development. Many young mothers, when they get, their first bundle of joy, they really don't know what to look out for. You give birth today, after 3 years, after 3 days maximum, you're discharged from hospital. And then now you're given that huge task to take care of this new being. And most of the times, like you say, experts, in case some conditions are not observed, are not highlighted early enough, then they progress to more, worsened conditions that could have been arrested early enough. So what are these factors that mothers need to look out for?
Thank you, Madam Kama. First of all, growth and development is something broad and a broad perspective. When I say growth and development, I look at a child's growth as enlargement of a certain part of the body. Mm-hmm. Then development is acquisition of skills. Now, a child from birth up to 5 years, as you have stated it, must be acquiring certain skills. Right away, we look at the social skills, stroke emotional skills. We look at language training, stroke communication. Mm-hmm. Is the child able to communicate right away from birth? Okay. Then we also look at physical development. How is the body changing? That's why we'll be acquiring the gross motor, fine motor skills. Mm-hmm. Then also we look at the cognitive skills. Thinking, problem solving, that's why we look at in a child. Right away from birth, these factors are able to be monitored.
When you talk about the emotional aspect of a child, is it the crying or what exactly should mothers look out for?
Yeah, emotional is social skills.
Okay.
How is he able to smile?
Okay.
Yeah.
So after birth, at how many weeks should a child be able to smile?
Maximally, we have to rate it at 2 months, below 2 months, on average. That by a child at 2 months must be able to smile. But also you have to play a factor. Yeah, the mother, even the caretakers, other caretakers, they are very, very important in training this child how to smile. Though there are other factors which can lead a child not to smile at that age, as my colleagues will discuss. Yeah.
Your input on this, Madam Irene, children smiling at that age, what exactly should parents look out for in terms of, like he says, okay, fine, we also play a major role in helping them develop. So what aspects are this? I'm sure you interact with many parents that come to you. What have you seen? What's the trend? We can take it up, Mr. John, Dr. John.
Thank you so much. I will start first of all that the development in children may not necessarily have cut-off ages. Because many of these things that you look out for as a child develops cut across a bit. So, but it's better to look at it at maybe certain ages. Then we say, for example, at one month, what are we likely to see? At 6 months, what are we likely to see? 9 months, 1 year, then 2 years, 3 years, and 4 years. That gives us a bigger picture. Then you can now say maybe between say one month and 6 months, maybe at 3 months. Some things will have developed at 1 month, but then you can see them at 3 months, then 6 months. So maybe I can just talk briefly about what we expect to start 1 month and 6 months. That can help us probably understand easily what happens. Now, the things that we usually look out for in development, the key things that my colleague Weiss has talked about are the gross motor skills, fine motor skills. We look at language.
What are these fine motor skills?
Now, gross motor, for example, touch, or ability to hold things, those are fine motor skills. The ability to walk, for example, or move the body generally is a gross motor skill. Then language, I think that is very, very clear.
Okay.
Then social, emotional, cognitive skills. For example, relating with others, ability to recognize, say, a parent or to recognize strangers, things like that.
Right.
So when you look at it at 1 month, for example, in terms of, say, gross motor skills, ability to move body parts, a baby who's resting on the abdomen can be able to raise the head.
Ah.
Yes.
At
That is
1
a gross.
month?
At 1 month.
Okay.
Yeah, when they are lying on their abdomen,
Yes.
tummy, then they can raise the head. That is gross to what is expected at 1 month. If you compare at 1 year, I'll give you what happens at 1 year.
Okay.
So then in terms of fine, for, a child or a baby at 1 month can be able to follow objects with the eyes. For example, if somebody is moving, then can move the eyes.
Yes.
Yes, if somebody changes the direction, then they can move the eyes also to that direction. They can coo in terms of speech. They can coo.
At 1 month?
At 1 month.
Okay.
Yes. And then when you go to 6 months, as a comparison at 6 months. Now, if you look at the gross motor, so 6 months, we expect them to sit. So now, some people sit as early as 5 months, for example, but at least 6 months, on average, you expect them to be able to sit unsupported. Yes. You expect them to be able to babble in terms of speech. We expect them to be able to hold on things using the whole hand. They can pull on, say, they can pick a book and be able to move it at 6 months.
Right.
Yes. And then they can be able to recognize strangers, and actually you see them, they become anxious when they look at strangers. At 1 month, you see them, they're able to recognize parents and follow them with their eyes. But then at 6 months, then they can be able to recognize strangers. And they actually, they become anxious most of them become anxious when they see strangers.
Dr. Waiswa, you pointed out to the importance of, the social, emotional aspect of it. So how should a parent, follow through with the emotional development of a child? What exactly should they look out for?
Right now, take for example, a child at 2 months. The social stock emotional skills of a child should be able to smile. When you come, they are able to smile. So if your child can't smile when he clocks at 4 years, you need to look for a specialist. It's a very important factor. Because whenever you come, the child should be able to do smile like that thing. And social aspect, it's so sometimes leading to diagnosis. If a child fails to have those social aspects from 1 year and below, it's a factor in autistic children. But that's when we have diagnosed you with autism.
Okay.
So look much at the social interaction. So also the social aspect gives a child this social life. That's how you see interacting with friends, making friends when it grows with time. But when it's not developing as a social factor or a social skill, it's not developing, we shall not really have children pick up. And also to add on what Dr. Mukel has said, like language training, babbling. So if a child is not able to babble, we get challenges with the communication. That's why nowadays we are having children of 3 years who are not saying any word. But the child looks to be normal. He can interact, he can walk well, he can do anything. Physical is normal, but he can't say any word. So when you look at this child, maybe language training wasn't happened at all. Also the social skills, every skill we look at builds to another skill in child growth and development. So they intermingle. When you look at social skills, will lead to communication. As the child is smiling, it's from the smiling he will start now making the juggling sounds. So it's a very important factor. Yeah.
Madam Irene, I'm sure you've spearheaded this particular, kind of skill enabling program for the parents. What exactly informed this? Because I know you at the hospital, you are at the forefront of ensuring that parents are skilled with this, information. What is it that you've seen being the main concerns for parents when they come to the hospital?
Our hospital is primarily a children's hospital, And mainly most of the parents come in seeking for treatment, but there are also those who are concerned about their children's growth and development. And here on board we have our occupational therapist who monitors the developmental milestones of the children. We also have a team of specialists, especially pediatricians, who treat children and at the same time monitor their growth and development.
And so after that, have you seen that it's a key, kind of concern in the public? Have you seen parents coming in with children who have conditions that could have been addressed, earlier on as an occupational therapist? Have you seen such instances where children are brought when it's too late?
Yeah, there are many instances. At least every day we have to get like 3 cases of mothers coming in, Marshall is 3 years, he's not talking.
Yes.
You really look at the child, he's not having any other underlying diagnosis, he's normal, he looks to be normal, but he's just delayed in a certain aspect of life. So it's just on the rise. Personally, I've tried to find out more, but we have really also changed the environment of our children.
Okay.
That's a very big factor. Right now, mothers, in the first 3 months, that's when they're with their children. Then after that, they bring in people from other families to care of their children. And to me, I believe that these mothers, co-mothers or caretakers we are bringing in, they have their problems. You're bringing a lady from Kamuli to come and take care of my child.
Right.
His problem or her problem knows this child needs to feed. There's something we need to do beyond that. A child needs love, he needs emotional support, he needs nutritional support so that he can develop, play and language training. These people have less time to do the language training with your baby. And for you, when you come back in the night, you are really tired, you just bring your breast to feed the child.
Yeah.
There's something should be done beyond that. Now at St. Catherine, we are trying to do child growth and development clinic, whereby we guide mothers on what to do. When you're back home, what should I do? It's not like to just breastfeed my child. These people we are leaving our children with, they're not doing their best. They know when there's milk in the bottle, that's the best. When the child is not crying, that's the best. But we say in the first 3 years of a child, it's very important for the brain to connect so that everything can be coordinated.
Everything,
and the brain,
yes. Everything
so we have changed the environment.
Okay.
It has affected, and the cases are very many currently.
Dr. John, you have Dr. Waiswa has alluded to the fact that it's important for us as parents to language train our children. How do I do that? How do I language train a 2 months, a 2 months old child? Where do I start? What should I do as a parent?
Okay, now, first of all, as I mentioned earlier, that there are particular ages you expect maybe somebody to be able to communicate.
Right.
To communicate what? But you see, in your usual language that you use at home, for example, if you're using English, you start talking to this 2 months old, whatever you want to tell them. You see,
in proper English.
Yes.
Not the boo 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 gaga gaga.
to communicate. Because you see, this it's picked gradually.
Okay.
You wouldn't say that maybe I expect the child to be able to call mama at maybe 9 months to 1 year. That's when I should start talking about mama. You're going to start talking about mama as early as you can. And when the appropriate time comes for them to pick that, they'll pick. So you're going to be communicating to the baby as early as you can, okay? But of course, you also know that my 2 months old, if I tell them this, they won't pick. So the communication may change gradually over time, what you communicate. But at least you can be able to say anything as early as possible, okay? So when you are having your 4 months and you say, oh, it may be time to take milk. Yeah, maybe in Luganda, nyua, and you put in the mouth, something like that.
Yes.
So they may not pick it at that time, but as you repeat that over and over and over, then that's when they able to, as their brain develops, they get to know that when they put a bottle and they say nyua, probably it's time to
drink milk.
To drink milk. Yes. So you do your full communication, that the way you would communicate to an adult, say maybe somebody who's 18 years, will be the same way you have to communicate to a 6 months old.
Right.
Because this is picked gradually. So as you repeat certain statements over time, then they see whatever your actions that follow those statements, then they get to know that when they say this is what they mean. Okay. But otherwise, if you wait and say, I'll just begin communicating this at 1 year, then it will take time for them to pick that.
Okay.
But you start as early as you can. So when you repeat something over and over and their brain develops, then they realize that this connects with this one. They're able to interpret.
When we were having this discussion before we went on air, you alluded to the fact that nutrition plays a key role in the development of these children. So what aspects in that plate of, you know, a child's food should not miss out? What factors should not miss out? Because you've seen parents, you know, giving just starch and that's it. You take posho, you put in milk and that's enough. What shouldn't miss out in that plate?
Maybe I
okay,
can,
Dr.
I
can take it up.
discuss that. Feeding that is recommended from age 0, from birth to 6 months, is exclusive breastfeeding.
Right.
So, and the breast milk has almost, I would say, everything that that age group requires. And if a mother is able to produce enough breast milk, then that is enough. So it has all the, what you need. It has the composition of a diet that is required at that. But maybe we can talk about when you begin bringing in, supplementing, adding something else to the food, to the breast milk, maybe from 6 months. But of course, I know, these days we can, there are situations when we can introduce other feeds before 6 months. But let's talk about when you are to start introducing something. Right. The aim is to have a balanced diet like any other person, a balanced diet. Of course, these are...
What is a balanced diet?
A balanced diet, a diet that contains proteins, carbohydrates, fats, and then what haven't I talked about? Carbohydrates, proteins, fats and vitamins. Okay. Yes, and vitamins. Yes. So that's your aim. So you introduce a diet that will contain all of that, including micronutrients like maybe ions and so on. So as you introduce different foods, of course, natural foods do not contain only one component. They contain a number of things. For example, if you fed a child on, say, soya porridge, it won't only avail you with the proteins, which are maybe the biggest composition. It will avail also other nutrients. But that's what we expect. Okay. For you to have a balanced diet like an adult. Yes.
Okay. You want to add on something?
To add on what Dr. Mkara said, the biggest challenge today is we mothers, after the maternal leave is the 3 months, we have less time for our children to breastfeed. Right. So now the other time is to supplement, to start introduce the diet. This has caused many challenges on child growth and development. Now it's high point we utilize the time. Let's know that a child's nutrition is very, very crucial in a child developing. That's acquiring skills, certain skills. Maybe that's what has caused the rise in challenges, delays in certain areas. So it's just my point I have noted out. So when your child is born, at least we can't leave the work issue. We have to work after 3 months. Right. Let's try to monitor our child's growth. However much we are an expert mother, you have 3 children, differentiate how children are growing in the villages. It's different how children are growing in towns. Mothers have much time. And these cases, like he has day to talk, he has day to read, they're not there. So now it's high time we prioritize child growth and development monitoring. That's why at the hospital we try to do that. You walk in, at 2 months we assess your child. At 4 months we assess. Then at 6 months we assess. So that we are monitoring. As a nutrition factor, we can't forego it. We can't say you'll be going with your children at work. Yeah. They have to start home.
Let me ask you, when you are, seeing these children who have been brought to, the clinic, the hospital, so to speak, what issues do you see for them that have been brought in late? What disorders, stand out?
The main issues we are seeing, the main issues right now is language delay.
It's just language delay?
That's the main issue. There are those who come when they've acquired certain milestone diagnosis, like I have cerebral palsy, have autism, but that's a different thing.
Can that be detected early?
Autism, it can be detected early. How? We have early onset and late onset. Yeah, but we may not look at the social skills of a child.
As a new parent, what should I look out for just to be sure that my child is not autistic?
Now, if a child is below 2 years, around 2 years and a half and below, also the social skills really differ. Okay. These are children who like to play with one item at home. They do not like to interact with others. Their eye contact is not all that there. It's a child, the way his eye contact is not real. Then you start to have question marks. They have tantrums, such children. They hyper in certain reactions, and even delayed speech or language. By them, the way they get their demands is by touching your hand to the erection. And when you refuse, they end up crying. So it's also on the rise.
Okay.
And the factors, scientists have not yet confirmed what's really the main cause of autism. And there have been many factors which have been proposed, whereby some say a gut and critical syndrome, where there's a problem with the gut, so that the foods, whatever we are eating, they are affecting the brain function. So we can't be specific on that about the cause. But we as occupational therapists and other health practitioners, we do case management.
Okay.
And sometimes when you do case management, a child with early interventions, you can have a proper what? A child pick up and cope up with the skills. Because for us, we look at training a child to be independent.
Right.
To train the child skills, the necessary skills, the child needs to be independent. And that's why we occupational therapists, we play a big role in child growth and development. We train, maintain, or develop the skills a child needs. Dr. Mukher talked about the physical development of a child. Take for example, we also look at the gross motor, kicking of their legs. There are those children who are not even doing the kicking. Even though you put a child on the tummy, you not even do the movements. A child to be able to bring his or her hand to the mouth is a very important factor.
Okay.
You can get to know that my child is what? Growing. So it's a product in that aspect.
Over and above autism, what other disorders, can be detected early by parents?
By parents?
With regards to, growth and development of children.
The disorders are quite a number. He has talked about autism, language delay.
Is cerebral palsy part of it? Can a mother be able to detect cerebral palsy
yes.
early enough?
Yes, you can develop. You can be able to recognize this early enough. For example, because you're looking at what you expect to achieve at a given age. As we said, like at 6 months, a child will be able to pick on something using the whole hand and move it. With cerebral palsy, you won't be able to do that, most likely. Because usually you can have a type of cerebral palsy where they are very stiff. Even making the hand move an inch, you have to use a lot of energy. The parent will pick this one very fast. Sometimes they are the hands, maybe the limbs are very weak. Can't even move the hand and bring it like this. Because you expect that when you bring something to feed the child, for example, at 6 months, they'll show interest to pick on what they're going to feed, because they have learned this is for feeding. If you bring a bottle, they're supposed to feed. The child won't be able to move the limb and go and pick something to feed. Then the mother will be able to pick easily. And usually, by 6 months, most of the mothers have, comparing with other children in the community, they're able to tell that this child is unable to do this at this. There should be some problem. And most of them usually, from 3 to 6 months, they bring their children.
Can these conditions be reversed if detected early? Mr. Waiswa.
Really, we can't reverse cerebral palsy.
Even autism?
Cerebral palsy is a paralysis of the brain, a certain part of the brain. So you've got a brain damage at birth, most times. So we can't reverse. What we do, we work on the skills. Then autism is a spectrum. So there are those when it's severe, and there's what we can work on.
Mild.
And then you can pick up.
Can the mild autism be reversed?
Can I say we work on them and they get to live an independent life.
Okay.
They go to schools, they interact normally, they can do whatever we need. They take everything necessary as you need your child to grow. Then about your detecting cerebral palsy early, it's mainly even at birth, more especially when children was insufficient supply of oxygen, they had to be put on oxygen. Sometimes a network, the cases are there. When you take the history, you see my child was rushed to ICU, something like that at birth. So they end up with cerebral palsy. And you can easily tell if your child is you try to make your child stand upright. These children can't be able to stand upright. You see the way they are flexing, sometimes they either extend, as Dr. Mukher has talked about, they're always stiff. Even you see they're trying to shake.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it means something happened. But we can't reverse it, but we can work on, because also there are types.
Yeah.
There's when it's spastic, there's that one when it's proper, something like that, and when it's mixed. So we can work on it, and at least you live an independent life. But for mothers with children with cerebral palsy, it's something which stresses them, because it's mainly affecting the physical appearance, and that's what we say.
Okay.
But also they have other issues, language, they don't talk, but we revise means of communicating. But they're manufactured with mobility, so like movement in and around of the area.
Yes.
Is very, very affected.
Okay.
But we are the occupational therapists, physiotherapists, and other medical practitioners. We work on neuropediatrician, because in our clinic, when we find such a case, we first refer it to a neuropediatrician.
All right.
Then also, he's the one to say yes, yes, this and this, because they have other complications like seizures, conversions, something like that, which we don't manage as occupational therapists.
Okay, so you refer them to a higher...
A neuropediatrician,
okay.
Then for us we do case management.
Okay.
Mainly,
All
my role is to do case
okay.
management.
Madam Irene, as you come to a close, what packages are this that you have, put together just to ensure that parents can access these services, this, monitoring services by the specialist at the hospital?
Yes, we have an occupational therapist on board, like I said. We do have a team of pediatricians, and people can feel free to walk in anytime, consult and see any of these people.
Is there a cost factor to it?
Yes, there is a small cost factor to it.
All right,
yes.
okay. So every, condition with its own cost factor?
Yes.
All right, okay, all right. As you come to a close, your last remarks, sir?
The other thing maybe to add on what Irene has said is we also have a nutritionist. Here in Kampala, we see a number of children who are overweight.
Malnutrition.
The malnutrition, the kind of nutrition that we actually, I would say overnutrition. Children who are, compared to their age, or their age, they are so overfed, I would say. They are too big. So we have a nutritionist who handles that, because most parents, when they see a child who's growing very fast, in terms of gaining weight, they think it's not a problem.
Okay.
You find a 2-year-old with a weight of about 25, and the parent is not concerned about that weight.
So parents should look out for the weight.
Yeah, they shouldn't only be, they're usually concerned only about people who are gaining weight poorly, but they don't usually get concerned about
the
who are
overweight,
the overweight, which is
Okay.
too much here in Kampala.
All
And so
right.
we also have intelligence who handles a lot of those such children.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Your last remarks?
My last remark is to parents. Parents out there, please, 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 it's high time you take child growth and development as a serious note. We have many cases of neurodevelopmental disorders, which you can't tell. When you walk to see your pediatrician, please ask about your child's milestones. It's a crucial point we take at St. Catherine. Don't say I'm a mother of 3, everything is okay. The environment has totally changed.
Okay, every child is different.
Every child is unique.
Okay.
So you need to know. We have also other neurodevelopmental disorders like specific learning disorder, communication disorders where we have language delay, stammering,
Yes.
all those are there.
Yes.
But you can't tell. Please always embrace child growth and development assessment so that we can be on the safe side.
Embrace child growth and development is a great message that we're giving you today. In case you're a mother, in case you are new in this space, in case you've been there for quite a long time, remember every child is different, so do not take this issue lightly. That has been the discussion day. In case you have any questions, comments or suggestions, be sure to keep them coming. They will be sure to look at them and answer them for you. That has been the discussion. Thank you so much for making time to come into studios to give us that key kind of set of information. That has been it for Morning at 10 TV. My name is Malaki Vilodera, and Morning at 10 TV still continues. Up next is Take Note.